Good morning, Vikings. Going to talk about world events, what's going on, what you need to be prepared for to happen. Middle East, Far East. But before that, I woke up this morning and I kind of had that view. It was pre-dawn, still dark out. I had my headlamp on and I saw these glowing eyes, two of them right back there, right back there. So I went inside, got a brighter flashlight, one of my through nights, they're amazing, and threw it out there, and there were two deer just bedded down right there. This is obviously close to my house, that's our clothesline. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And now you can see my dogs are sniffing around. They know they were out here. All right, so you ought to get a map out if you're not familiar with the Middle East. And maybe for those of you in the modern world with printers and such, just go ahead and print out a copy, 8.5 by 11 copy. And while you're at it, do one surrounding Korea Peninsula and just tack them up at your computer station so you can kind of keep track of things as the situations develop over there. I've been up for a while, but I haven't had that much coffee. Saudi Arabia, the kingdom thereof, KSA, United Arab Emirates, UAE, and Emirates Air is supposedly one of the best airlines out there as far as luxury goes. So my friends tell me. And Kuwait. KSA, UAE, and Kuwait have all told their citizens, leave Lebanon ASAP. Get out of Lebanon. And oh, by the way, don't even think about going there if you haven't already gone. It's got the world in a Twitter. What's going on? Very recently, maybe a couple days ago, I'm not a Middle East guy. I read the news like you do. The Prime Minister, the head dude of Lebanon, resigned and fled to Riyadh, which is in Saudi Arabia. Now here's what's going on in Lebanon. Lebanon is a state, a nation that is not in control of itself. Clearly, if their prime minister resigns and flees to Saudi Arabia. Iran is exerting much influence in Lebanon through Hezbollah, whose sole purpose in life seems to be to destroy Israel. The Hezbollah army, Hezbollah is an army, is stronger than the Lebanese army. Okay, so they've got a force in their country that's stronger than they are. So they're in trouble. You know, they're in charge of their country only in name only, and now they're not. He fled. Israel started a battle. They call it a war. It was a 30-something day battle, July of 2006 with Hezbollah, and they got their nose bloodied. They were shocked. I read some of the reports that came out after that, and the Israeli army was like, pooh! We weren't ready for that. And so they're very wary of Hezbollah. Hezbollah did a lot better than a lot of people thought they would. They were professional. They had been professionalized by Iran, which should tell you something about Iran. I think Saudi Arabia and Israel, who have been having back-channel talks, significant back-channel talks, let me switch my arm here, are fixing to mix it up with Hezbollah in Lebanon. Now look at the map. How's Saudi Arabia gonna get there? What's Jordan's role in all of this? You know, Jordan is our quiet Arab partner. You don't hear much about Jordan. They keep everything low-key, but the Jordanians get along with us well. We get along with Jordan well. That's all I'll say about that. Except that their king, Abdullah, was a commando, and he attended the United States Army Special Forces qualification course. Yes, he did. So Yeah, what's Jordan's role in this? You really do need to look at a map to figure that out. Could Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Kuwait be telling their citizens to leave and not go just as a pressure tactic? Sure. Um, the fight is between Saudi Arabia and Iran. That's the fight. Sunni Saudi Arabia, Shia Iran. It's like in America, Protestants and Catholics, they're Christians, right? They get along. In Northern Ireland, back in the 60s and later and earlier, Catholics and Protestants didn't get along. That's kind of like the Shia-Sunni thing. They really hate each other. And Iran is trying really hard to exert influence. That's what's behind the whole Syrian thing. Syria is a client state of Iran. Iraq used to be mostly Sunni, but Iraq has been falling under Iranian sway, which is another reason we're still in Iraq. Let me switch my arm again. It's a mess, man. They're looking at it Sunni Shia. They both don't really like Israel, although the Saudis are obviously ready to work with Israel. It's just a mess. It's a mess. Anyway, they told their people to leave. Today's Friday, prayer day in Muslim land. Probably nothing going to happen today. How long do you give your people to get out? Probably not that long, right? I think in the next few days, less than a week, we're either going to see something or we're not over there vis-a-vis Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Lebanon, which is really Iran. You know that we, the U.S., is gunning for Iran. We're gunning for Iran, we're gunning for North Korea, and we are gunning for Venezuela. I tried to look up today, where are all of our aircraft carriers? It mildly irritated me because, our adversaries, they know where they are. I'm not talking about within 5 miles, but, they know what theater they're deployed to. And our adversaries, the good ones, the Russians and Chinese, probably know exactly where our aircraft carriers are. It's their job to know, right? But this is knowledge is known. It's not like a deep secret. I wish I could find out. I wish I could just call up a map and see where all our aircraft carriers generally are. And what I was thinking of, all right, we know there's 3 off North Korea. That's a lot. I don't know what this Odyssey thing y'all are talking about is, but it's a lot of aircraft carriers. How many do we have in the Med right now? What's going on in the South China Sea? That's what I'm kind of wondering right now. Are we stacking up? I do not think that we can fight North Korea and Iran at the same time. Don't think we can. We got to take care of one before, and then shift fires before we can take care of the other one. Maybe that's why we're depending on Israel and Saudi Arabia. I'm not quite sure Saudi Arabia and Israel can take on Iran. Maybe they can take on Iran's client state, but then what if Iran says in for a penny, in for a pound, let's go? Russia's kind of sitting back, watching the pieces, because Russia has influence in the Korean Peninsula area and in the Middle East. They're just sitting back. I think they're generally against Iran, though, which is kind of interesting, which then generally puts them on the side of Saudi Arabia and us. Is World War III brewing? Is it biblical? Where do we see the armies from the east coming across the Euphrates River and the armies of the north, Gog and Magog, coming south into Israel? When does all that switch up? Interesting times, Vikings. Don't get too stressed out about it. Some of you have a tendency to do that. Just chill. Do what you need to do. Look, I've got wood back there. Can you see it? Right back there. That I need to still split and put up. We've been burning the fires. Yes, we have. It's cold out. Interesting times. All right. Y'all take care. Keep prepping. I'll try and be a little bit more on it here. Still having some internet issues. We're dealing with it. And yeah, I'll see you out there.